Do you want to make soft, spongy and melt-in-mouth rasmalai? If yes, then watch this video till the end. I have shared some very important tips and tricks. If you follow them, you will be able to make rasmalai which is better than the store-bought one. We will start by making the rabri for the rasmalai. For that, in a heavy bottom saucepan, I have taken 1 liter, that is 4 cups of milk. Pro tip: if you will add the milk in a wet saucepan, it will prevent the milk from sticking to the bottom of the pan. I had added a few threads of saffron in approximately 2 tablespoons of milk, kept it for some time, and now I'm adding the same mixture to this milk. Let the milk boil till it's thickened and almost reduced to half. To this, I'm also adding some chopped almonds. If you want, you can also add pistachios. 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom powder. I personally do not prefer to add any color to this because the saffron that we've added will give a very nice yellow tint to the rabri. But if you want, you can add a little bit of yellow food coloring at this stage. We've been cooking this milk for some time and you can see that the milk also is thickening and the saffron we added have given such a nice yellow color to it. Let's continue cooking it for some more time. Once the milk is reduced to almost half, add 1/4 cup, that is 4 tablespoons of sugar. If you like it slightly more sweet, you can add another tablespoon of sugar in it. Once the sugar dissolves, you will notice that the milk again has become slightly thin, so we will continue to cook it for some more time. Keep scraping the edges of the pan and make sure that the cream that is sticking on the sides gets incorporated in the thickened milk. It's been some time we've been cooking this and you can see that the milk has thickened and this is the consistency you want. You do not want your rabdi to be very thick because if it is thick, the rasgullas will not be able to absorb it properly. So your thickened milk should be of this consistency. Step 2 is to make the cottage cheese balls. For that, in a heavy bottom pan, add 1 liter, that is 4 cups of milk. Turn the gas on and now we need to let it come to a boil. Second pro tip, make sure to take cow's milk and not buffalo milk because that will not give you a soft chena or paneer. I have made this recipe using full fat milk and toned milk, but I personally prefer using full fat milk for the best results. Meanwhile, while the milk is boiling, let's prepare the mixture to curdle the milk. For this, I am taking 3 tablespoons of vinegar and 3 tablespoons of water. If you want, you can also use lemon juice instead of vinegar. In case you're using the lemon juice, please make sure to strain it because you don't want the fibers to come in it. Our vinegar and water mixture is ready. Let's keep it aside. Keep stirring the milk also in between because you do not want it to stick at the bottom of the pan. It's been a few minutes we've been cooking this and you can see it's about to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, turn off the gas and we have to let it cool for 5 to 6 minutes. Third pro tip is that it is very important to let the milk cool for 5 to 6 minutes because if you will curdle the milk when it is hot, you will end up with chewy and rubbery chena or cottage cheese. It's been a few minutes and the milk is also slightly cool now. Time to add the vinegar and water mixture. Keep stirring it in between. Add little bit at a time. Till now, I've added approximately 4 tablespoons of the vinegar and water mixture and you can see that the milk has already started to curdle. The exact amount of vinegar and water mixture that you'll be needing to curdle your milk might vary slightly. You can see that the green liquid or the whey has started to separate. Do not stop curdling at this stage. Add a little more water vinegar mixture and wait for 3 to 4 seconds. You can see that the clear green liquid have separated and the milk solids have come together. Fourth pro tip, add ice cubes or chilled water immediately to stop the cooking process. This will ensure that the chena remains very soft. Keep a sieve on a bowl. On the sieve, I've placed a muslin cloth and now we are going to strain all the cottage cheese. Wash the milk solids or the chena with some water. Doing this step is very important because this will take out the sour taste and the smell of vinegar from it. The whey that is left behind is very nutritious. Do not throw it. You can use this to knead your dough for chapatis and paranthas, or you can also dilute it and give it to your plants. Let's squeeze out the excess water from the chena. While doing this step, you have to be careful that you want the excess water to drain out, but you do not want your chena to be completely dry. We still need a little bit of moisture in the chena. After squeezing out the excess water, we need to put some weight on it and let it rest for 5 to 6 minutes. Till our chena is resting, let's move to the third step, that is to make the ras or the sugar syrup for the rasmalai. Take a deep vessel, add 5 cups of water and 1 1/4 cups of sugar. Turn on the gas and keep it on low to medium. Give it a mix. And now we will cover it and let the sugar dissolve. It's been approximately 6 minutes. Time to knead the chena or the cottage cheese. Transfer it on a plate. You will notice that right now the cottage cheese is crumbly. Fifth pro tip, when you squeeze the chena, you should be able to hear a distinct sound of moisture. If you are not able to hear any sound, that means there is no moisture in your chena and it is completely dry. In that scenario, you will need to add back a few drops of the whey that we squeezed earlier. Now, with the help of a palm, we need to knead this very gently. Doing this will ensure that the grainy texture of the cottage cheese becomes smooth. This might take around 6 to 8 minutes. A quick tip, if you haven't strained your chena properly and you are finding it difficult to knead it, you're feeling that it's a little wet and sticking to your hands, roll it up and then put it on a kitchen or a paper towel. Cover it with the same and let it sit for 5 to 6 minutes. The towel will help absorb the extra moisture from it. After kneading the cottage cheese for approximately 6 minutes, you can see that everything has come together and it has become quite smooth. To this, now I'm adding 1 teaspoon of corn flour and once again we need to knead this for another minute. Corn flour helps in binding, but please make sure do not add more than a teaspoon. After kneading it for a minute, to check if your chena is ready or not, make a ball and see. If it's smooth and there are no cracks on it, your chena is ready. And now very gently we just need to press it a little bit. You can see how smooth and crack free it is. That means we have kneaded the chena really well. Divide the remaining chena into equal parts. I have divided mine into 10 equal parts. These will puff up quite a bit once we will put them in the sugar syrup. If you are not able to make a ball without any cracks, you just need to knead the cheese for a few more minutes. Cheese balls are ready. Let's cook it. Before adding the cheese balls, turn the gas on high and make sure the sugar syrup comes to a rolling boil. Only then add the cheese balls. After adding a cheese ball, wait for a few seconds and then add the next one. Because if you will add all the cheese balls at the same time, that will drop the temperature of the sugar syrup. We do not want that to happen. You want a constant rolling boil. After adding all the cheese balls, cover the lid, and now we need to cook this for 15 minutes. When you are cooking the rasgullas, try not to open the lid, because when the lid is on, the bubbles are forming and those bubbles are cooking the rasgullas from the top. If you are like me who loves to watch the rasgullas puff up, then try using a clear lid. That way you can see them without needing to open the lid again and again. After cooking them for approximately 15 minutes, you can see that these rasgullas have puffed up so well and they have tripled in size. Time to open the lid. Wow! Now at this stage, if you want, very gently flip all of them, but this step is completely optional. At this stage, if you feel that your sugar syrup has reduced quite a bit, you can always add some hot water, 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time. Let's cover it again and let it cook for 2 more minutes. After 2 minutes, open the lid. Take one rasgulla and dip it in a glass of plain water. Give it a few seconds. If it sinks to the bottom of the glass, that means your rasgulla is cooked properly. Do not turn off the flame and let the syrup be on rolling boil. Take out the rasgullas one by one and dip it in ice cold water. Pro tip: dipping the rasgullas in ice cold water is very important because this will stop the cooking process and it will prevent them from shrinking back. Rasgullas are ready and you can see how soft and spongy they are. Let me squeeze it and show you. Did you see how much water it had absorbed? It's just like a sponge. And once we'll dip it back again in the water, it's again gonna puff up. Let me break one and show you from inside. See how soft and spongy it is? One by one, very gently, take out a rasgulla, squeeze out the excess water and put it in a separate container. We are squeezing out the water because we want it to absorb the thickened milk that we made. Repeat this step for all the remaining rasgullas. Time to add the rabri. Make sure to warm it a little bit before adding it because that way the rasgullas will be able to absorb it better. I'm garnishing it with some almonds and pistachios, a little bit of saffron, and at last, to give it a more festive look, I'm adding a little bit of edible silver leaf or chandi work. Now is the toughest part. We need to let it sit in the refrigerator for a minimum of 5 to 6 hours or preferably overnight. Then it will be ready to be enjoyed. If you will follow all the tips and tricks that I have mentioned in this video, you will also be able to make soft and melt in mouth rasmalai. This Diwali, make it for your loved ones and I'm sure they're gonna love it as much as we do. If you tried this recipe, do not forget to tell us in the comments how it turned out for you. Thumbs up if you've liked the video, subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you get an update when I upload a new recipe. Thanks for watching.